I'm Chloe Friesen, filling in for Marjorie Dowhouse here on Radio Noon on CBC Radio 1. During one of Manitoba's coldest winters, Dylan McDonald recorded his album in a log cabin near Riding Mountain National Park. This Saturday, though, in the sunshine, Winnipeg Folk Fest goers will hear those tunes performed at Birdshill Park. Dylan McDonald, aka Field Guide, joins us now. Hi, Dylan. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So before we get into all the Folk Fest excitement, can you take us back to that cold winter where you recorded your self-titled album, Field Guide?
Yeah, for sure. It was, I guess, kind of like the tail end of the pandemic, and it ended up being a really nice way to kind of get out of the city. And my pal Chris Ulrich and I did about 3 week-long stints up at a place called Ditch Lake, just outside Riding Mountain, and stoked the wood stove and just made music basically 12, 14 hours a day, and otherwise just kind of sat around.
Can you describe Ditch Lake for us? I've never heard of the place. What's the space like? What's the cabin like?
Well, I call it the Promised Land. It's about 10 minutes outside of Riding Mountain National Park, and it's a really small lake, but really beautiful despite the name. And it's just a cool community. It feels like a small town. Kind of a lot of people know each other, and neighbors are always kind of popping by and saying hey. And my folks have just like a little cabin up there, and it's got a wood stove so we can go up in the winter, and we kind of discovered it sounds pretty good in there, and it's kind of a nice refuge from being in the city. So we get up there a lot and make a lot of music up there.
Was the plan always to record the album in that space?
Yeah, it kind of was. We recorded it in a few different places, but that was kind of the primary location. Chris and I had gone up there the first winter of the pandemic just for a week to just make music and see what happened. And kind of during that process, we kind of discovered that it was a good vibe up there, and it sounded good. So the next year was premeditated to kind of get the record going there.
So speaking of vibes, what do you think that place, how do you think that place affects the sound or the vibes of a song?
Well, it was a good chance to just really like immerse ourselves in the process. I've really kind of developed a love for doing that while making records over the years. I love recording in sort of non-traditional studio spaces, and sometimes that means at home, but getting away to a place like that just sort of lets you, in a way, kind of work 24 hours a day. But it's kind of nice to just, not go home after that process, to just sort of finish your day and then sort of be in this space that's separate from your normal life, and to kind of just be like fully immersed in that process.
Yeah, you're staying in that creative space 24/7.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Okay, so we're going to move now from that wood stove heated cabin in the winter to Winnipeg Folk Fest, hopefully in the sunshine this weekend. What sort of sound or feeling do you think that Folk Fest is going to bring out of these songs this weekend?
I'm not totally sure, but I'm really looking forward to it. It's the first, I think, outdoor show for the band of the year, and we just got off kind of a 7-ish week tour of like clubs in America and in Canada, and this will be sort of a first sunny afternoon performance. So I think it's just going to be really chill, really relaxed, and so many pals and musician friends playing at the festival. So I'm looking forward to run into some folks. And I'm playing with my friend Georgia Harmer from Toronto, and I'm hoping she's going to pop into the set and maybe sing on a few things. And it's going to be beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome. I cannot wait. Are there any acts yourself that you're especially excited to see this weekend that you've been marking in your calendar?
Totally. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the War on Drugs and Faye Webster and Fruit Bats, and honestly, quite a long list. I'm very excited.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Dylan, on Radio Noon. And break a leg at Folk Fest this weekend.
Thanks for having me. Take care.
Dylan McDonald, also known musically as Field Guide, is performing at Winnipeg Folk Fest this Saturday. You can find him at the Shady Grove stage at 1:15 p.m.